And on that, it'd be great to get the coach's opinion from your eyes. You being a strength and conditioning coach, you obviously believe in gym work. Otherwise, you wouldn't be doing what you're doing. You're going to deal with vets. You're going to deal with rookies. You're going to deal with people that are more athletic and others that are more skillful. In an environment like, obviously from an Australian standpoint, like AFL, we've got 52 people on the list. So there's going to be groups of people that are pretty similar. The smaller that list gets, the more you'll have maybe one or two people that fit into certain categories. So I wanted to ask you, how do you deal with, say, for example, a rookie that has come from a high school environment where they were the duck's nuts, they were everything. They sort of controlled their own program and said, I don't need this, and got away with it, to then coming to you where they may see a superstar sort of having a far more unique program. And try and claim, well, no, I don't need to do that. I haven't done that. I haven't done that. But from your perspective, it's like, well, actually, you might have been a superstar back in high school, but here you are a rookie, and you'll follow the rules until proven otherwise. How do you create buy-in for a strength conditioning program for these younger superstars that probably don't value it as much as the ones that have come through a more athletic environment where they do understand the athletic potential of actually training?
Plus, a lot of them don't like lifting. Hey, like they're basketballers.
It's a very skillful sport. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, 100%. It is skill based, and I'm lucky I get to work with 15 of the best 450 basketball players on the planet. And it's incredible when you look at some of those young guys and ask them to perform basic movement patterns that, in a high school weight room that you would expect some kids to be able to perform, and some of them struggle to do it. But you ask them to windmill dunk in their slides with no warm up, and they will do it. And that's just a learned thing that they've done in their times of being hoopers. So there is an art in that. The first thing is, to answer your question, Lockie, is you hope that the veterans you have within your team help create that culture. That's a big part of that. And you can definitely try and push that rookie towards that player to ask the questions from their perspective. Because I'm an unathletic 33-year-old man who thinks he was once an okay athlete, but realizes that ambition and talent were nowhere near where I thought they were. So those guys need to seek the advice and opinion of the guys who are within that other 450. I think that's one of the first big steps. The second for me is helping them facilitate the decision, but be okay with it if it's a fail, as long as it's a safe fail, because that's how they're going to learn. They're going to learn. You're going to learn from your mistakes. And as a rookie coming in, regardless of whether you're a one and done kid or you've been in college for 4 years, or you've gone through the Next Stars program, like one of our guys, RJ Hampton, or you look at LaMelo Ball or Josh Giddey, who just was picked up by Oklahoma. So this year after being out of Adelaide, like the transition from no matter where you are into the NBA is always tough. You go from take the NBL, take college, it's 30 games into 82. It's almost triple the workload straight away, plus the flights. And you're playing against men. You're not playing against boys. That's a big difference. So there's a lot of lessons to learn within that. They get drafted, they go straight to summer league, which is an intense period of practice and games. And for the high draft picks, there's also a lot of other stresses of being like, I'm the number one pick, I'm the number two pick, I'm expected to perform. I cannot fail here already. There's a lot of other stresses that come along with that. They'll then move into their market city, be expected to find a house, set themselves up, perhaps remove their family with them, come into a training camp period that can be 4 or 5 days where you're doing 2 a days, and then start an 82-game season with maybe 4 to 6 exhibition games on the top of it. Like, there's not a lot of real opportunity to develop athletic, to stick to an athletic development plan within that 12-month period, because there's so much new going on with them there. So I think by giving them the freedom to make some decisions and make mistakes and then come to you to ask how do I improve? How do I get better? That helps create that buy-in there enormously. I think that if you come in and say, this is what you're doing, and with no explanation as to why, you've lost them from the moment you've even shaken their hand and said, welcome to the organization. Great to have you here. Can't wait to work with you over the next few years. So it's incredibly important. And I think that for those rookies in particular, again, regardless of how old they are, typically their training age is still 2 or 3 years, really, because they're so naturally gifted. They've relied on their athleticism, their natural athleticism through high school and college has just got them to where they are. They've still probably got a training age of maybe 2 years of age. So it's their second or their first summer after their rookie season where you can really dive into that development structure and set some really clear goals with where they expect to enter the next season. I think that's your really big window to work with them. And the key to that is keeping them in town.